Hello, my name is Karen Wiley, and this is for Organizational Management class. I'm Dr. Sykes. Today, I'm going to present to you a presentation on the company that I chose to do my paper on, and the organization that I chose is Better Family Life. Um, Better Family Life is organization that is within the community that serves the community through cultural arts, and then also services for families, such as families that may be in need. Um, I actually reached out to Better Family Life and spoke to the head of their HR and just wanted to get a top 10 of their HR practices that I had to provide for this presentation. So right now I'm going to discuss the top 10, if I can get to them, of their HR practices that they go by at Better Family Life. Okay. The first one that she talked about was matching the company needs with employee expectations. HR must be included in all of the business strategy planning and implementation. HR also needs to be the catalyst of open and honest employment engagement between employment and management. It's not common for HR management to be totally out of touch with employee experiences. A lot of times we experience that in organizations that we work in. Sometimes our perceptions, likewise, employees often have an unrealistic view of their role. So maybe their role is different from what they feel it should be. So it's always a good idea to matching the company needs with the employee expectations so that way everybody is on the same accord. The next one that we talked about was align businesses needs with HR recommendations. For many business practices to work, most all of the individual process must be aligned. Data-driven software simplifies compiling a list of best practices by giving you access to real-time metrics and analytics. Work closely with the top and line management to identify each department needs and also to identify hotspots that need immediate attention. So we definitely want to make sure that the business align with HR recommendations, because if the business is not aligned with the recommendations and what needs to be provided for the company, then obviously it doesn't work. The third practice, what really stood out to me, was the recruitment and selection process. After talking with her, that's a huge part of the company practices, because it's an ongoing practices that they really have to keep getting better at. Having your recruitment and selection process develop in tandem with changing business strategy. So that's a one-off. So if the strategy changes for the company, then obviously the recruitment and selection process changes as well. It's almost effortless to slip into a comfort zone. And once you're there, it takes quite a while to realize that things aren't working anymore. So if your company is a specific department or making one bad hire after the next, it's time for introspection and reviews of your hiring processes. If you haven't yet, now is the time to definitely take a step back and look at that whole process, because you definitely want to keep your recruitment aligned with your business practices. One of the reasons why that works is no business can successfully hire staff without a recruitment and selection process in place, because you want to make sure that people understand and that the selection process matches up with your business alignment, your business plan for the company. So you want to make sure that that process streamlines together. Okay. Employee compensation is another practice, hiring practices that the company really focus on, because when you recruit those talented people for your business to carry out the business of the company, you definitely want to make sure that they're aligned with compensation of your competitor, because now companies are offering sign-on bonuses, things like that. So the compensation component piece of the hiring practice is definitely something that you want to focus on. It's essential that HR keep abreast with current salary trends and also keep aligned with management informed. There are plenty of us to up-to-date salary surveys like pay scale that you can subscribe to for regular updates. Again, you definitely want to make sure that you're up to date when it comes to salary, because again, people are always recruiting, so they definitely looking to recruit the best talent. And if you have the best talent at your organization, then you definitely want to make sure that you're making that employee happy. Okay. The next one, selective in your recruitment, making sure one of the practices that they talked about at Better Family Life, making sure that they're selective because they're serving the community. Everybody's not equipped or have that compassion and drive to serve the community. So they definitely have to be selective the way that they select their employees. Okay, and training and development, because the world's always changing and things change, programs change within Better Family Life. There are guidelines that they have to follow because they get a lot of funding from the government, so they have to be within guidelines. Audit takes place, so they have to make sure that the staff is trained and developed. So they have a mandatory training program that all employees have to go through. I mean, it starts from being able to identify elderly abuse, being able to identify child abuse, on down to making sure that you understand how to use the government software to issue out services for the community in which Better Family Life serves. Okay, so they have a serious training and development, and they're always developing their employees, because again, it takes a special type of person to be able to utilize and deal with people that live in the community in which they do serve every day. Engagement and open communication. You definitely want to keep your employees engaged, and then you also want to have their open communication. One of their hiring practices, open communication, because programs change daily within the organization, because it is funded by the government. They get a lot of donations. However, they get a lot of grant money from the government as well, and those funds are restricted. So open communication is very important, because they have to be able to get that communication out to the employees to ensure that they're within compliance and they are doing things right according to guidelines. So one of their practices, engagement and open communication. Improving job security is definitely one of the practices, and they do that by allowing the employees to be developed, the training, the selection process. So all of that, because they spend a lot of money when they do that for training, and the actual hiring process actually is a cost. So they definitely want to set you up in a situation where you're more, you have more job security, whereas you can depend on us and we can depend on you type of relationship. So that definitely improves job security. So they want to make sure that the open lines of communications are there, you're compensated, you're getting the training that you need, because they want to improve job security. They want you to stay with the company. So that's a hiring practice that they definitely, HR practice that they definitely like to put in place, because it costs a lot to bring a person on. And again, last but not least, the one hiring practices that they do, they focus on compliance. Compliance is a huge part of Better Family Life because they are funded by the government. And so you definitely want to make sure that everybody is in compliance of what's going on within the organization. Those are HR practices for better family life. I hope you enjoy them. Thank you and have a great day.